When we live. We there?
That's it. There you go.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. We're back live again. We've been hiatus for a while. We at our new school. We're here to bring out the truth. Today's class is called Colin, Kapernick, the NFL and the Racism in America. So we're going to cover some of these things, starting with the Star Spangled Banner. Officer Benaniah, read that for me.
The Star Spangled Banner, original September 14, 1814. And where is that band who so valiantly swore?
Swore. They're violently, boldly, bragging away. Read.
That the havoc of war and the battle's confusion.
That's the devastation, the destruction. Read on.
A home and country.
See,
and a country.
See, they call it a home and country. This is stolen property. Read on.
Should leave us no more.
See, they don't feel like this country is going to lead them anymore. Read on.
Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps. Pollution.
See, this is your original Star Spangled Banner. Their blood has washed out their foul footstep pollution. That's talking about the slave, them killing the slaves. Read on.
No refuge could save the hireling and slave.
And you got black people that are singing this song, man. That is going into their refuge, no protection. Could save the hireling and the slaves. This is what this is talking about. But you got people that send their children to these schools and have them stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Even as a child, I didn't even used to participate in this. Because it was never in my spirit. Read on.
From the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave.
See, this is what they're talking about, killing the slaves, because those slaves that sided with Britain was promised freedom, but we know Britain is another posse of Esau. So, believe me, they weren't going to give us our freedom. Read on.
And the Star Spangled Banner in triumph doth wave.
Read on.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The land of the free, only for the nation of Esau, and the home of the braves, or the so-called white race, the killers. Read on.
Francis Scott Key's The Star Spangled Banner. British forces recruited escaped slaves to fight for the slaves' freedom against the American militia.
See, you know Britain lied to the slaves. They all lied. They come out the womb line. Read on.
The Star Spangled Banner is as much as a patriotic song as it is a diss track to black people who had the audacity to fight for their freedom.
See, it's a diss track, and they sending their children to school and turn it to a flag and putting their hand across their chest, telling them they pledge allegiance to the flag. I would never pledge allegiance to that flag, because that flag represents murder of our peoples, man. That's what that flag represents. Let's go on with the NFL and racism. We really covering this Colin Kaepernick. This is why they are pissed off at him about that flag. Why is you mad about a man who won't stand up and put his hand across his chest for a flag? That's crazy, man. And this man can't get a job, but I'm not really worried about that. Because he ain't fighting for the flight of the Israelites. He fighting for equal rights here in Babylon.
That's right. Someone watching the YouTube live, they said the sound is distorted.
Oh, the sound is distorted?
Yeah.
We just cut that fan out. We just going through our first trial. Hey, text them back and see what they say. Now let's deal with this NFL racism.
NFL racism. This is the case of whites in America. Their dislike for the other groups and bias in favor of their own is a well-known fact, especially to the people who have experienced discrimination, racism, and prejudice in America. The laws of the country instead advocate for equality of opportunity and equal treatment of groups, something vastly different from what is practiced.
See, they give you that notion that we got equal rights here. Don't believe it, man. Don't believe a liar, a born liar. We don't have no equal rights here. We slaves here to this day.
That's right.
And we're going to cover that. Read on.
Racism in America trickles down through every facet of society.
See, it trickles down, man. Just like when they brought us over here on them slave ships, man. Some of the deplorable conditions that they brought us over here in the bottom of a slave ship. Laden with diseases. You know, you bring the slaves over here, they probably wasn't even cleaning down there. They're defecating and throwing up on each other, man. And we supposed to just start to believe this animal? Man, please, read on.
Even sports.
Even in sports, the NFL, the NBA, the basketball, track and field, all their sports. We're going to cover the sports things too. Because we are not supposed to be doing these things. Read on.
Even sports with majority of black players. Sports where we would least expect racial bias to play a role in the selection of players exhibit elements of the bitter stench of racism that stands out in the width of American society.
It stands out. But you got your 2/3 and your stepping fetching and your coons that hey, they about this. They don't understand. White men will kill them and walk away and get away with it. Our peoples have sold out, man. They mentally destroyed. Read on.
We need to look no further than the National Football League to one facet of how racism operates.
See, let's dive into this, son. Read.
If we look behind the scenes, we will see the racism is even more prevalent. Who are the offensive and defensive coordinators? Who are the sports medicine doctors and physical therapists who work with the players? Who are the accountants employed for the NFL? Who are the marketing professionals sitting in cubicles? Who are the administrators and senior managers?
Who's behind the scene, man? Because they're not hiring us. They're not hiring us to be sportscasters. They're not hiring us in those jobs. Only the ones that have sold out. Michael Irvin. You know, you got a few of them that's all about massa. Michael Vick. You know, you sit up and say something about somebody need to cut their hair. When that white boy said what he called us all kind of niggas, he stood up for that white boy. Let's tell you who will sell out for that money, man. Mm-hmm. Read on.
We don't have to squint our eyes to see that the NFL is a racist league.
All your leagues. Because name me one black organization or group on the team. None. In the NBA, none. In the baseball, none. Don't get fooled with that Usher and Jay-Z and them. Them Negroes probably own a penny in that operation. Yeah. You know, they just somebody put there just for a marketing scheme. They don't own nothing. Read.
But as professional football is a microism of the country in which it is played, can we really expect anything different?
Can we expect anything different? NFL, just like the corporate office around here. It's no different, just like the cities. Everything about them. It is no different, man. Every city is based off racism. We got to quit get caught up and start trying to establish our own self. We got to quit running to massa for everything. Let's go to 2 Maccabees 4:10. The book of 2 Maccabees 4:10. So we're going to cover some of this stuff, man. Deal with some of this sports stuff. Let's see where it all started. Read out.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 10. Which when the king had granted, and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to the Greekish fashion.
To the Greekish fashion. The Greeks. The known homosexuals. Who was after the Greeks? The Romans. Who was after the Romans? These are the same nations. America. You got Great Britain, Spain, and all those other countries that they fled into. Read on.
And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid. He took away, and putting down the governments which were according to the law, he brought up new customs against the law.
He brought up new customs against the law. See, everything against the Most High, they bring up new customs, establishing their own laws. We are following our enemies. Think they care about us? How many NFL players go broke after they leave the NFL? Or is there a system set up for them to continue living like they do? No, most of them go to drugs and be homeless. Just like your sports entertainers, your comedians, television entertainers, they all fall. It's just a temporary victory for them. Basically, they don't put their money away. First thing they get, they're in the club tossing it up or whatever they calling it, buying all kind of cars. They ain't doing nothing for their neighborhoods. That's why I don't support none of the leagues, none of the sports leagues. I don't got no cowboy apparels or no NBA apparels. It's garbage to me. Read on.
For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
Them Greek hats. Would you know little hats with the little shoe on it? See, we adopted all the customs of the other nations. We're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, but we are and here are, because a lot of people's right now, they're getting their children ready for Saturday games. Pee Wee, Pop Warner, they're getting them ready to play, even the soccer. Everything is done on the God Most High Holy Day, the 7th day. Read.
Now such was the height of Greek fashions, an increase of heathenish manners.
Heathenish manners, the other nations. Read.
Through the exceeding profaneness of Jason.
Jason, he was a wicked Israelite, paid to become a high priest. See, our people, they sell out quick, man. Read.
That ungodly wretch, and no high priest.
He was no high priest to the Most High, man. Read on.
That the priest had no courage to serve any more at the altar.
See, that's what you got in these churches. They don't have no courage of stepping up. They're telling their congregation, do not listen to the Israelites. How you not? They're not listening to us. We're coming out the Bible. Your pastor and them not coming out the Bible. They just sitting there to give you a song and a dance and a collection plate. Because the church is an extension of the club. Read on.
But despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices.
See, they despised the temple and the sacrifices that they was doing back then. Read.
Hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise, after the game of discus called the fourth.
See, this and they was practicing, they was doing this naked. That's why you see back in the day, the NBA players with the little booty shorts on, they had on hot shorts. Why do you think the baseball player clothes are tight? Football players, you know, you got all these guys running and diving on each other. That's some homosexual tendency. Player score a touchdown, everybody slapping him on the ass. Good job, good job. What man slap another man on the ass? Now, would you allow that if you walking up the street? You see what I'm saying? So we have to understand these sports are really made basketball player all on each other, sweating and guarding each other. No, man. Once you realize that those are very feminine sports. Read on.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
They weren't taking the honor of their fathers, but they were taking the fashions of the Greeks. All the 2/3 are following the world. It's time for us to come out of the world. I shouldn't see nobody in here talking about the sports teams. We don't deal with that mess. You shouldn't see no one in here talking about what Carmelo Anthony or LeBron James now. They have sold out, man. Stop following these wicked Negroes. Read.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them.
These are the Israelites.
For they had them to be their enemies and avengers,
Read on.
whose custom they followed so earnestly.
That's the same thing we do today. You see a team win a championship, you see most all our peoples out there celebrating. Negro, you ain't got one dime coming to your community. So how is you out there celebrating? You don't even go to the game. You can't afford them. And if you do go to the game, you sitting up in the nosebleed where the slaves sit at. The ones running the city is the ones sitting down below.
That's right.
Read on.
And unto whom they desire to be like in all things.
They desire to be like Esau, man. They fall in an animal, man. I don't have no sympathies for this animal, man. Once you go and read, I got this book right here called The Black Holocaust. You read this, man, and read what our people went through. And if anybody hollering, oh man, that's in the past, they can have the double D. Drop dead.
That's right.
Because if you don't care about what happened to your forefathers, that's a part of your tree. Read.
For it is not a light thing to do wickedly against the laws of God.
See, it's not a light thing, man, but our people do it light. Read on.
But the time following shall declare these things. Now when the game that was used every 5th year was kept at Tyrus, the king being present.
See, a lot of times they win a championship, where they go? To the White House. Show master, they've been good boys, man. They play hard for master. Because that's who cheering them on when you go to if you watch the game, all you see is a bunch of animals sitting around there hollering and cussing and fussing. None of them can play. Most High give us these gifts, not to use them for that thing. Read.
This ungracious Jason sent special messengers from Jerusalem.
See, this Jason, I told you, he was a wicked Israelite man. Read on.
Who were Antiochians, to carry 300 drachmas of silver to the sacrifice of Hercules.
See, those are coins, really money. That's what they're doing. All this stuff is staged, man. It's just like the WWE, man. They know who's gonna win the championship, man. You know, one team will know the other team plays, man. That's how you can shut down a team. You know, NFL should be like 40, 45 every game. So you have to understand this NBA, the same thing, man. All you people out there betting your money, you just fools, man. Read on.
Which even the bearers thereof thought fit not to bestow upon the sacrifice, because it was not convenient, but to be reserved for other charges.
So these things that our peoples are sacrificing to, they sacrifice. Sunday morning, you're going to see some of our people out there tailgating. They sitting up in the nosebleed. You're going to see them all about this in them, all on your Facebook timeline. They're going to be talking about nothing but the NFL, the NBA. They ain't talking about none of their God or the oppression that our peoples are going through, or the killing of our peoples, or the incarceration of our peoples. They're not caring about none of that, man. Selfish Negroes. Revelations 18:4. Our people been taught here not to care about each other. It started on the slave ships.
And it's also a distraction to keep us from God's laws.
That one, not that one.
And it's also a distraction to keep us from God's laws. Everything that they do is a distraction or witchcraft to keep us not from following God's laws.
So that's what it is, a distraction. All of it. Just to keep us being, and you know, who the one blowing out their knee? Who the one crippled when they get old, can't do nothing for themselves, or even, you know, have no income coming in? Who? We are. It's nothing set up. See, these guys that's making all this money, they're not establishing any business. And why? And all these NFL players, won't they go sit down until they get that man a job? That show you that's division, man. And I got to pay for my Bentley, man. They ain't put no business in our neighborhoods. How you still support something that does nothing for you? Read verse 18, Revelation 18 and 4.
The book of Revelations, chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
Come out of America ways. Come out of following the things that you see this place do. Now, a lot of people going to be saying, my people, that's everybody, ain't it? Let's deal with that. Let's go to Exodus 3 and 10. Hold that precept, go to Exodus 3 and 10. Let's deal with my peoples. See, because, it's like, if the white man said it's good, but if the Israelites say it's bad. Read.
The book of Exodus, chapter 3 and verse 10. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people.
Hold up, who?
My people.
Who?
My people.
See, it's saying the same thing. My peoples. It ain't talking about the whole world. From Genesis to Revelation, it's talking about the Israelites only. And the other nations going into captivity. Read.
The children of Israel.
The children of who?
The children of Israel.
Read.
Out of Egypt.
See, it's saying the same thing. We're going to come out of this Egypt. Let's go back. Revelations 18 and 4.
The book of Revelations, chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
So we know these peoples is talking about are the Israelites. And where is it talking about come out of her? America. All the islands that surround Jamaica. Down there in South America. Because they follow the same customs too. Read on.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
That's a warning, man. That's a warning given to the Israelites. That you be not partakers of America's sins. Read.
And that ye receive not of her plague.
You don't want to receive none of her plagues, man. Her plagues have reached up into heaven. So, let's go to Amos 3 and 1. We got to come out of America. Quit following American ways. And come out of them Christian churches, man. Ain't nothing in there but some sellout pastors. They don't want nothing but your money and some fake gator shoes. Most of them walking around here sporting. Come out of America, man. This is not our resting place. We're in captivity here. The house Negroes done went crazy around here. They leading all the others to destroy the ways of the Most High. Amos 3 and 1.
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you.
See, hear this word. That was that warning in Revelation 18 and 1. Read.
O children of Israel.
O children of Israel. This ain't no spiritual Israelite. You can't go, the Jehovah's Witnesses can't get the so-called Edomites in here. Or the Japanese or the Chinese. Read that again.
Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Read.
Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt.
That whole family is the 12 tribes of Israel. Ain't got nothing to do with no one else. Read.
Saying, you only have I known.
Read that again.
You only have I known.
When did the other nations come in there? Read that again.
You only have I known.
Read on.
Of all the families of the earth.
Of what?
Of all the families of the earth.
Read.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquity.
Therefore, the Most High is going to punish them. That's why he said, come out of her and be not partakers of her sins. Because this place is a sinful nation, man. This is the abomination of the planet. Let's go to Baruch 3 and 8. This place is an abomination to the world, man. It's just that and they pushing that homosexual on every country, man. They pushing that law on every country. That's why you see our people, these young children, it's okay for two men to be together. Come on, man, that's filth. or two women to be together. That's filth too. That's against nature. Baruch 3:8.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
See, if Colin Kapernick knew this, he would understand and be trying to help forward this movement. All these NFL players, man. You think I'm worried about Ezekiel Elliott? No, I'm not. He ain't worried about his people. He dealing with Edomites. Read that again.
Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
We still in captivity today, man. They just give you the illusion. I tell you all the time. Go to our neighborhood. Strip the roads out. Take the corner stores out. Take the power lines out. And you got the slave plantation quarter. Houses stacked up on houses. Read on.
Where thou hast scattered us.
While thou hast what?
Scattered us.
We was the only nation scattered, not those old fake Jews in our homeland. They identity thieves too. Read.
For a reproach.
For a reproach, for a rebuke. That's to correct us, man. Read.
And a curse.
And a what?
And a curse.
Because when you go into Deuteronomy 28, it's dealing with the curses. Read.
And to be subject to payment.
Right now, we in debt slavery right now. You got taxes on everything. You get your checks, you get taxed. Your phone bill, you get taxed. Electric bill, you got taxes. You got your water bill, you got taxes. Car insurance, you got taxes. Car payment, you got taxes. They taxing us to death. That's letting you know that's debt slave. Read.
According to the iniquities of our fathers.
We're paying for our forefathers' sin. Read on.
Which departed from the Lord our God.
They departed from the Lord our God. Read.
Hear, Israel, the commandments of life.
Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Because these commandments is life. Because if you ain't keeping these commandments, you walk in charcoal. Read on.
Give ear to understand wisdom.
Give ear to understand wisdom. Read.
How happeneth it, Israel, that thou art in thine enemy's land?
Where we at right now?
In thine enemy's land.
See, we thinking we free. We Americans. We in our enemy land, man. We got to get that idea out of our head, man, and separate from these animals. Read on.
That thou art waxen old in a strange country.
We don't grow old in this strange country, man. Generation after generation, they taught us to be good slaves. That's what you watch on your television all day, every day. Showing you Massa. Massa having fun. Massa. This is Disneyland to Massa. But we the slaves here. When you go to Disney World, who you think gonna be working all the jobs there, getting paid low wages? We are. When you go into the restaurants and the kitchen, who gonna be in there? We are. When you go into the hotels with the low wage jobs, who gonna be in there? We are. We still debt slaves here. Read on.
That thou art defiled with the dead.
We're defiled here with the dead, man. So we have to understand these things. Let's go to Isaiah 65:13. We're here amongst the dead because they don't have a chance in hell to get into the kingdom. They don't taught us all these good feeling things, man, and make us feel good, and we all won. We ain't never been won here, man. We still slaves.
That's right.
Name me one city or state in the United States that we can go in and we treat it fair, good. None. Read on.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 65 and verse 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry.
Man, our people starving around here. We eat, but we hungry, but they eating our garbage. That's why you got the little Debbie cakes, the little snack cakes. They cheap. But you trying to buy some vegetables and things, that's when things get expensive. Let me ask you a question. Why in our neighborhoods we have no fruit trees? No plum trees, no pear trees, none of these things. Oh, we just got some trees in our neighborhood. Y'all need to go and plant these in our neighborhood. Plant some peach trees, some pear trees. Plant some of these things, man. Pecan trees. walnut trees, fig trees. There are none of this stuff in our neighborhood. They're letting you know something is wrong. They went in and killed all the trees. They making sure we gotta go to Walmart to buy that garbage. That food probably been sitting on the shelf for 5 or 6 years, man. As soon as you get it home, a banana, it rot the next day. Read on, man.
Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty.
Even though these guys making their money in the NFL, they still thirsty, man. Because as soon as they leave, most of them busted. Read on.
Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed.
You know, these guys celebrating and having all this at the club, they rejoicing, man, once they got a little money. But after a while, it turns into shame. Then they got him on TMZ or somewhere. On the news, he don't rob the liquor store. Read.
Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart.
Man, we crying for sorrow of heart here, man. What is 1% of the Negroes make? And the only way you making money is you're a sports player, an entertainer, or someone that really sold your peoples out. Because they got to hire a few of us to make it look like Oprah Winfrey made it, you can do it. See, that's just a lie. Oprah sold out with her gay tail. See, her lovers over on Channel 11, I don't remember her name, but this is who we sold out to. You think I'm worried about OJ getting out of jail? No, I'm not. OJ ain't did nothing for his people. He ran his big head ass through the airport and he ain't done nothing for us. He ain't set up nothing in our communities. So we're worshiping them, man. We got to stop that. Read.
And shall howl for vexation of spirit.
We're going to be howling for vexation, indignation, man, anger of spirit, man. Our peoples are suffering out there in this world. And we worried about some Negro taking a knee. Because, and he doing it for a good cause, but they ain't going to tell you that. But you see how they blackball, they showing them, nigga, get in your place. Shut your mouth. Don't you disrespect this flag that done killed and raped, robbed, and stolen everything. You better be a good nigga and stand up and pledge allegiance to this flag. Read on.
And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen.
See, they got Johnson on the back of their shirt. Home, Jones. And then you see a lot of these stepping veterans, our people, man, the Johnson family reunion. When are we going to have the Israelite family reunion? Or the Issachar?
That's right.
See, they don't want to do that. See, our peoples, a lot of times when I be thinking, our peoples love to be in sin. This man, yeah, they're at the family reunion, but he over here sleeping with somebody's wife. So, he want to go to the Johnson family reunion. Read on.
For the Lord God shall slay thee, and call his servants by another name.
See, we are called by another name. And we are getting slayed here. But our people, man, I just don't see how you can love a country that is persecuting your brothers and sisters daily. How can you look past that and just say it ain't happening? You'll see them having a rally downtown. You're going to see more of our people. Those are the ones got jobs. But you see us as the Israelites stand up, you ain't going to see none of them. Where are these people that's the politicians, the black caucus? Where they at? Nowhere to be found. They don't want check to be cut off. You better understand some of our people have sold us out. Baruch 4 and 6. Some of our people have sold you out. Quit running to them and calling them and telling them your business. All they gonna do is run in their master, we got a Negro out here. Master, he talking crazy, master. All he's saying he want a job is to feed his people, help take care of his people. You know, like they told us, they promised us 40 acres and a mule. You know, they lie all the time.
That's right.
They're not gonna give you nothing. Just like Tulsa, Oklahoma, when it was a thriving metropolis, they went in, that was the first terrorist act. They went and bombed it. But you don't see no television series about that. You don't see no movies coming out about that. They did one with Rosewood, but they gonna tune it down to make it look good for us. Yeah, we got back. Nigga, you still a slave. Read that.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 6. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction.
See, we were sold to this nation, not for our destruction. Read on.
But because ye moved God to wrath.
See, we move God to anger, man. That's why when people be asking me, do you be worried when you out there in the street? No, I'm not worried about nothing. They need to go read 2 Kings 6, 13 through 18.
That's right.
We're protected by the holy angels, man. We ain't worried about you, Esau. We know you watching right now. You probably over there. You broke one of your keys on your keyboard. We're not worried about y'all. Read on.
Ye were delivered unto the enemy.
Where was we delivered?
Unto the enemy.
We was delivered unto the enemies. Read.
For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto death.
Man, go in Big Mama house right now. She got pork chop in there, a white image of Central Bourdieu on the wall. You know, right now she's probably in there frying some pork chops today. Yeah, we cooking a good meal with that Jiffy Big cornbread. It's got pork in it too. So you just got a pork dinner. That's why you got high blood pressure. Some of them don't even know they sick from the food they eat.
That's right.
Read on.
And not to God.
And not to the Most High. Read.
Ye have forgotten the everlasting God.
What have we forgotten?
The everlasting God.
Man, you tell them they're the greatest people on the planet, they hate you for it. Call you out your name. Sit downtown or wherever we at, scoff all day. Read on.
That brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you.
We grieved the place, because we was over there doing all kind of abominable acts. Man, I don't know what to tell you, man. Our forefathers, us, now we're back into the Most High grace again. We're supposed to be acting like a family. That's what we do here. We have brothers, we have a garden, we're trying to help feed our sisters and brothers with fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. You know, we doing what we doing the work. And we thank all y'all that's sending in funds, helping us out down here. Eventually we will be coming to your city. Tell them the Israelites coming. One body.
That's right.
But we have many members. A lot of people don't understand that. Let's go to Sirach. Let's go to Isaiah 30 and 5 first. Isaiah 30 and 5. Because we need to be doing some things. We need to be trying to set up some things in our own community. We got to quit trying to depend on Master. Because when he shut down Walmart, you're going to see a bunch of Negroes page long. Nigga starved because you believed in this system. Read that, man.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 5. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them.
See, we should be ashamed because the ones that are sitting around thinking that the so-called white man is going to help them, believe me, he's just going to use you. Believe me, he's not here to help us, man. He's here to use you. You just a slave. Why do you think they bringing in so many of Issachar across the border? A lot of times they don't even pay them, man. Because they know they ain't got no social security card and they illegal. But they're not illegal. They're at home. This is their land. The so-called white man is illegal.
That's right.
Read on.
Nor be an help, nor profit.
They're not a help. Nowhere in the world you can find a black man and say, man, the white man helped me set up a change of restaurants or a change of hardware stores or anything. Only way he gonna set something up on you, he gonna be profiting off of you. Read.
But a shame and also a reproach.
That's all Colin Kapernick is. He running around here in all kind of different religions right now. He don't know who he is. But if these NFL players will come to the light, they'll shut the NFL down before they let them walk around with fringes on their clothes.
That's right.
Same thing for these NBA players. They ain't gonna do nothing for us, man. Sirach 13 and 15. They're not gonna do one thing for us. So quit thinking they are. Thinking that some of them are good. You're gonna find they all bad, man. Every one of them. Read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 13, verse 15. Every beast loveth his life.
Every beast. You don't see the lion hanging out with the wildebeest, do you? You don't see the ants hanging out with the birds. Read it again.
Every beast loveth his life.
We should be loving our own peoples. Read.
And every man loveth his neighbor.
Every man loveth his neighbor. Your Israelite family, not the other nations. Read.
All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like.
A man will cleave to his like, his own. See, we got brothers that they get signed an NFL contract, they moving out to the best, they moving out there with mindset. They come home like they did LeBron, had nigga on the garage, letting them know you ain't too high. They teach racism in those neighborhoods. I'm going to show y'all this. Read.
What fellowship hath the wolf with the lamb?
What fellowship has the Israelite man with the Edomites or the Japanese or the Chinese or the Arab? These are all the nations that's oppressing us in our neighborhoods. Read.
That's right. So the sinner with the godly.
The sinner with the godly. Read on.
What agreement is there between the hyena and a dog?
What agreement is it? The Most High left. This is why we call this basic. Left basic instruction for us. But we want to be complicated. We want to be outsmart. You're just an educated dummy. Read.
And what peace between the rich and the poor?
What peace between the rich and the poor, man? There's not going to be no peace. Because he want to keep you under his foot. He'll hire you to come cut his grass. He'll hire you to come paint his house. He's not going to show you how to get that house. Read.
As the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. See,
the rich is eating us up, man.
That's right.
We keep them rich. We ain't. I see people talking about they ain't gonna watch no football. Man, they'll be the first. You be at home, your TV off, they be at home, watch the game with some popcorn and a Dallas Cowboy Philadelphia Eagle hat on. They're not gonna do the work, man. So if they're not in the truth, they're not gonna do the work. Read.
As the proud hate humility.
See, the proud hate humility. Read.
So doth the rich abhor the poor.
The rich, man, because who the rich right now? The other nations. They are oppressing us. Read on.
A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends.
See, when he fall, they come to his rescue. Give him loans and stuff, pay his mortgage. Nobody gonna do that for us. We have to do that for each other. Read.
But a poor man being down is thrust also away by his friends.
Man, a poor man, somebody come knocking on your door, you've been knowing this guy 20 years, he's not, man, ain't got nothing to eat, we get that door slammed in his face. That's how me and all peoples are, man. They hate each other. Sometimes we see people out there on the streets downtown be hungry. I've seen some of the brothers in there go get them food. But see, Israel, a Negro that's not awake, he ain't gonna do nothing for him. And an Israel nigga ain't gonna do nothing either. They're part of the 2/3 club. Read on.
When a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too.
See, he go to jail, they blasting his name all over the media. Talk bad about him. Read on.
He spake wisely, and could have no place.
Read on.
When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue.
See, when a rich man, even some of the 2/3, they send a lot of these Snoop Dogg and them into the neighborhood to quiet them down. But the Most High riling these spirits up right now. They gonna send Snoop down there and he gonna get his neck cracked. See, they get tired of these coons coming in their neighborhoods, ain't doing nothing for them.
That's right.
Read on.
And look, what he says, they extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this?
See, when we out there speaking, that's how they looking at us. Where this nigga come from? Who gonna believe him? But if that was Joel Osteen out there, man, they'd be out there, passing out, man, and they'd been like at a Michael Jackson concert. They'd been toting bodies out the crowd. Read on, man.
And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him.
See, if we stumble, you know, they whites and us, man. Cause, you know, we on their radar. Let us stumble. Whites, they come down on us, man. And all people, they're a bunch of sellouts. Let's get this this George Stinson Jr. Officer Benedict. This is about a 14-year-old boy. This just happened 70 years ago. So you tell me they don't change all of a sudden? Y'all people better stop believing, better quit getting caught up in that smoke. Read.
George Steiny Jr. It took 10 minutes to convict 14-year-old George Steiny Jr.
Not that one. Read on.
It took 70 years after his execution to exonerate him. In March 1944, deep in the Jim Crow South, police came for the 14-year-old George Steiner Jr. His parents weren't at home.
See, his parents weren't at home. That's how they still doing us today. Read on.
His little sister was hiding in the family's chicken coop behind the house in a cooler, a segregated mill town in South Carolina.
The world is still segregated. Read on.
While officers handcuffed George and his other older brother Johnny and took them away. Two young white girls had been found brutally murdered, beaten over the head with a railroad pike and dumped in a waterlogged ditch. He and his little sister, who were black, were said to be the last ones to see them alive.
That's just like the same thing they do here today. You got to put your paper down, just work the camera. Can't do both. This is the same thing they are doing to us today. Read on.
Authorities later released the older Steiny and directed their attention toward George. The police were looking for someone to blame it on.
See, they are always looking. How many brothers have got exonerated out of prison, man, for not doing the crime? See, they always looking for a black face to pin some on. Read on.
So they used my brother as a scapegoat. His sister Amy Ruffner told WLTX TV earlier this year. On June 16, 1944, he was executed.
They executed this 14-year-old boy, man. This shows you that these people are some savages, man. And some of these demons still alive. They put this young boy, 14 years old, in the electric chair, man. And a lot of the crimes they did, we don't even know about because it wasn't recorded. So, why should we kneel down to a flag? This is our people they have done this to. Read on.
Becoming the youngest person in modern times to be put to death. On Wednesday, 70 years later, he was exonerated.
It was the same thing happened, man. He was exonerated, not guilty. Keep kneeling to that flag, man. You know, them guys, the whole NFL should be on one knee when they have a game, but them Negroes ain't gonna do nothing because they scared of their paycheck. But the Most High gonna take it away anyway. Read on.
He was questioned in a small room, alone, without his parents, without an attorney.
See, that's when they in there with the good cop, bad cop. All cops are bad to me. That's the ones that ain't in this truth. Because they don't understand they out there help persecuting their brothers. When they wake up and come into the truth, then I can see eye to eye with them. But as long as they out there doing the dirt, because a lot of times, even in our neighborhood, and I'm going to tell you something, that black woman police, she worse than all of them. You almost got to snatch your weave out to get some understanding.
That's right.
Cause she there to lock you up. She want to play like she hard as a hammer. And our own police, sometimes the white police will give you, I don't know about your business, nigga. Don't want to see you down here no more. Black police write you up and take you to jail. And that's what you have down here working in most of the jail system now. A bunch of sellouts, man.
Yep.
Down there treating their people bad, man. It's gonna come a day when people gonna be waiting out there with some stones.
Yep.
Read on.
Police claimed the boy confessed to killing Betty June Bidnicker, 11, and Mary Emma Thames, 8, admitting he wanted to have sex with Betty. They rushed him to trial. After a 2-hour trial and a 10-minute jury deliberation, Steiny was convicted of murder on April 24th and sentenced to die by electrocution.
See what I'm saying? 2 hours and 10 minutes. They don't even have to have a trial here, man. Might well, nigga, you guilty, we're gonna give you 25. We just going through the preliminary just to make it seem like you got equal rights. We don't have equal rights here, man. We still slaves. Read on.
At the time, 14 was the age of criminal responsibility. His lawyer, a local political figure, chose not to appeal.
See, he had a court-appointed attorney. A redneck. These are the people y'all trust. Read.
Steiny's initial trial, the evidence or lack thereof of it, and the speed with which he was convicted seemed to illustrate how a young black boy was railroaded by an all-white justice system.
It's still an all-white justice system. They just got a few stepping fetching that work in there. They just as cooned out as anybody. They worse than mouse up in there. They be in there looking at you with an evil eye.
That's right.
Read on, man.
During the one-day trial, the defense called few or no witnesses. There was no written record of a confession. Today, most people who could testify are dead, and most evidence is long gone. South Carolina still recognizes George Steiny as a murderer.
Hold up, read that again. And the man was exonerated. Read that again.
South Carolina still recognizes George Steiny as a murderer.
They still recognize him as a murderer, and they know he didn't even do it. How you gonna deal? People shouldn't be sending their children. You got children going to the school. Tell them not to when they say the pledge of allegiance, turn their back to it. We shouldn't have our children in there playing along in them schools, and need to take them out them sports, because they ain't doing nothing but busting themselves up. I remember playing basketball, springing and jamming, everything. Read on, man.
George's conviction and execution was something my family believed could never happen to any of us in the family. Therefore, we made a decision for the safety of the family to leave it be. Indeed, just 84 days after the girls' deaths, Steiny was sent to the electric chair.
Man, was no appeals, no nothing. These devils smell blood, man. I got a thing on the Time magazine showing you about how they was in the Caucasus Mountains, how they used to eat each other. See, they play it off, these are the Neanderthals. No, them are y'all today. They still cannibals. Give me Lamentation 4:17. See, we love the people that's killing us, man. Some of y'all gonna be on their table next week. Read.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
See, we still thinking this nation is gonna save us, man. We still thinking this is the land of the free, the home of the brave, the American dream. The American dream for the 12 tribes throughout South America and wherever Esau is ruling, it's been a nightmare. The same thing that's happening here, happening down there in South America, happening in Jamaica, happening down there in Haiti. See, they hide themselves, man. But they put everybody on the blast. Let's get this. Go ahead, we're gonna bring the police next. Go ahead.
Nobody has really paid attention. But even okay, Ronald Reagan was supposed to come in here and help us. Did it ever happen? Had the hood changed? All the way up to right now, we got an idiot in office. And the hood ain't changed. From all those presidents, ain't nothing ever changed for us. And I don't think nobody's really paying attention to that. We still going up there trying to talk to these city councilmen. We still going up there trying to fight like Malcolm X did, like Martin Luther King did. We still going up there doing the same thing, and none of that stuff has worked. We tell you to come back and do what thus says the Lord, and y'all don't want to do that. But this is our only way out of that situation.
That's right.
You know.
We're gonna go into that, Officer Benaniah. See, the thing is, Ronald Reagan was one of the biggest dope dealers on the planet.
That's right.
Him and Bill Clinton, all of them, man. How you think they pumping these drugs in our neighborhoods? They know where they're going. Who the one get most incarcerated? We are. See, they ain't gonna tell us nothing. They just gonna play the game. Get you a lawyer, you get out if you right. You know, how you gonna give a man more time for crack than powder? Who, you know, they think was powder, now the crack got to their neighborhood. Everything they do, it ends up flow back to their neighborhood. Now let's read this thing about the police here in Ferguson. Let me show y'all something.
Police. Ferguson, Missouri became famous for the Michael Brown shooting. The city's finances were in trouble.
See, that's what they was doing. They was oppressing our people. This goes on in every state and every city. This is how they keep their city running. They have to keep arresting us and locking us up. We paying fines, court fees, all kind of fees, man, they don't came up with. Read on.
And the finance director had a proposal to help fill the gaps. The finance director's proposal, as a pre-price economics reports, was to have the police generate more revenues from fines, traffic violations, parking tickets, missing court appearances, warning that the city will be in financial trouble unless ticket writings ramped up significantly before the end of the year. The finance director went on to add that given that we are looking at a substantial sales tax shortfall, it's not an insufficient issue.
That's why we're telling our people to clean up, man. We're telling them to get right. And once they come into the truth, they don't have to worry about that, man, because they keep the laws in the Bible. We're going to keep the laws here. We're not going to be breaking laws and all these things, man. We're here to do what we got to do, man. We're trying to clean up our peoples, and the white men hate that, you know, because guess what? Cigarette sales go down, Christmas sales go down, turkey sales go down. Any sales that we was involved in, the dope game don't went down, because most of us, all Israelite men are working. So, and the Negroes that are not working, the Negroes ain't got money. They going and sitting in the jail, but the state get money from Washington for housing them. That's why they got penitentiaries everywhere. The judges get paid bonuses for locking them up. Y'all better understand, man. You're in a game that you can't win. Read on.
This correspondence was uncovered as a part of the U.S. Department of Justice investigation of the Ferguson Police Department as a result of the Michael Brown shooting in August 2014, with the goal of better understanding why the citizens of Ferguson felt so at odds with the police department.
This happening in every city. Read on.
The DOJ concluded that the mistrust primarily resulted of excessive findings.
Excessive in every city.
Excessive findings. Ferguson's law enforcement practices are shaped by the city's focus on revenue rather than by public safety needs. The DOJ stated, adding that the use of fines to fund the government undermined law enforcement legitimacies among African Americans,
Israelites
in particular, to find out whether or not Ferguson is an anomaly. Price Economics investigated the proportions of revenues that cities typically receive from fines, as well as the characteristics of cities that rely on fines the most. We found one demographic that was the most characteristics of cities that levy large amounts of fines or on their citizens. A large African or Israelite population.
Thank you. Read on.
Among the 50 cities with the highest proportions of revenues from fines, the median size of the Israelite population on a percentage basis is more than 5 times greater than the national median. Surprisingly, we found that income had very little connections to cities. Reliance on fines as a revenue source, our analysis indicates that the use of fines as a source of revenue is not a socio-economic problem, but a racial one.
A racial one. Read on.
The cities most likely to exploit residents for fine revenues are those with the most Israelites. Of the top 100 municipalities in terms of revenues from fines, more than 2/3 are in just 6 states.
Read.
Texas, Georgia, Missouri, Illinois, Maryland, and New York.
Prime big cities, man. They get their money off us, man. That's how the city runs. Where the city get money? Property tax. Yeah, they go snatch your house if you don't pay your taxes. But most of their money is coming off the oppression of our people. And this is why this brother was kneeling. He was kneeling for something. If he just knew he was an Israelite, it'll be for the glory of the Most High. Read on.
Price economics contends that with the southern states, where the Israelite population is largest on a percentage basis, are overrepresented on the list. It seems unlikely that the connection between fines and large Israelite populations, a connection that cannot be explained by poverty, is the result of Israelites across the United States committing more finable offenses. A more likely explanation is that they are more highly policed, and that, as has been acknowledged by the director of the FBI.
Right there, they're highly policed. Those are your slave patrolmen. They still in our neighborhoods, man, patrolling.
And like they said, it's been acknowledged by the director of the FBI, so they know what they're doing to us. Don't be fooled. Israelites suffer from a heavier legal penalties due to the implicit bias of police officers. Charging individuals with minor infractions is highly desecratory and influenced by where law enforcement choose to direct their attention. Although Israelites and Edomites report smoking marijuana at the same rates, Israelites are 3.7 times more likely to get arrested for marijuana possession. Other research shows that Israelites are less likely to sell drugs than Edomites. They are more likely to be arrested for it. An analysis of the National Survey on Drug Use and Health found that 6.6% of Edomite people between the ages of 12 and 25 have sold drugs compared to just 0.05% of blacks.
See, we sell drugs because we try to feed our children. But you got some of these guys, they selling drugs and putting rims on a $200 car. They at the rental tire getting some tires to put on their car, man. They want to look good. For who? They putting themselves as a target. Cause when you see somebody in the hood with a nice car, guess who see him too? Your friendly police officer. Read on.
Yet, black people are 3.6 times more likely to get arrested for selling drugs. Given this evidence, it seems likely that the police officers often find Israelites at higher rates, even if black people do not commit more infractions.
Because we know the so-called white men commit all the infractions, man. We know who's committing all the crimes around here. But we know who's the most in the jail. When you get a ticket and you go into court, it can be 100 people in there. It's going to probably be about 2 whites. It's going to be the nations in there. They're going to be like, man, you go in there, you be looking around, and then you look behind the judge. He might be one of our people, but he's not Israel. You're going to find a sister back there, she going to have a serious attitude. You're going to have a brother that back there, he going to be looking down on you.
That's
this
right.
nigga up in here. He waiting on the judge to say get him. He going to try to slam you and everything in there. I'm just trying to tell you, man. Damn, you was 3 and more, man. Let's see If not, our people been had this problem over generations. Read that, Daniel 3 and 1.
The book of Daniel, chapter 3 and verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold, whose height was 80 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces, to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar, the king, had set up.
See, it's no different than him than America. The same thing going on, man. All America did was steal what they did and applied it. Read.
Then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then and Hurl cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet.
See, that's just like they start Spangled Banner. Read.
Flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
See, they saying the same thing today. That's why they persecuting that brother, man. Read on.
And whoso falleth not down and worship it, shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
Read.
Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, the flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Anytime you hear that dun 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 dun, you supposed to get up, stand up, and be like this up in there. They can drop dead. I'm not doing it. Read on, man.
Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans named near and accused the Jews.
See, they accuse this brother Colin Kapernick. Read.
They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever.
See, that's a lie. Read on.
Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image.
Read on.
And whoso falleth not down and worship it, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
So they do the same thing. They cast him all on the internet. He all on the news. They make this brother look like he done killed somebody. Now in the NFL, you got murderers, killers, rapers. Cause Ben Roethlisberger, he's a raper.
Two-time rapist.
See, but they ain't blocking him out the lead, are they? See, he still can play football because he's an Edomite.
That's right.
But this man haven't broken down law, shot at nobody, called no honky. And they persecuting this man because he refused to stand up to their flag. That flag is worse than the Confederate flag. The American flag is worse than the Confederate flag. Who brought the slaves over here? It was an agreement with all nations. But America was the one buying and selling.
That's right.
See, who the one persecuting us over here? America. All these black people are not dying up under the KKK now. The KKK is your local police officers now.
That's right.
Read on.
There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee.
See, these men, that's how they looking at us. Now we on their radar. We ain't broke. They compare us with the KKK. Man, how many crackers have we hung? I'm going to call them out. How many have we hung? Not one. How many have we shot? Not one. How many of them have we discriminated on against? Many, because every time they come on the block, we let them know they the devil. I know y'all going to be like, not one. No. Read on, man.
They serve not thy God.
See, that's how they feel. They serve not, because when you're not serving that flag, you're not serving America God. You're not going to church on Sunday, you're not serving America. Read.
Nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king.
See, that's how they do. When they get mad, man, they blast you on their internet, on their television. And y'all need to stop believing all that stuff on their television about Kim on, what's his name? Kim who?
Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un. That man over there smoking big cigars, drinking vodka and stuff, man. He ain't studying the United States. It's just the news media. I heard somebody on the outlet talk about they got some peoples over there. And they was like, what's going on over here is not going on over there. This is America trying to push the thing with them like George Bush did with Iraq. They used their media here to criminalize that man. Talking about how bad he treating his people. And we get treated bad here.
That's right.
So what crime is different? I don't see no crimes coming from this man. We just got to stop believing everything America tell us. Read.
Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true?
See, that's what these old Edomite fake Jews that's running the NFL are saying. Is this true? This nigga gonna take a knee? I know. Hold up, man. Put the camera on that nigga down there. So next year, when he get ready to sign a contract, then you got all the scrub. This man here can probably start on every NFL team. Is this true? This nigga gonna take a knee on the flag? Read on, man.
Oh, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
See, they got slave names right there. Read.
That's right. Do not ye serve my gods?
See, do not ye serve my God. See, he took a knee. Man, them Edomites. And then, just like he was going to sign with Baltimore Ravens, the owner, he called out the fans and stuff. How many of them called out the fans on Ben Roethlisberger? Not one. See, it's a double standard here. Read on.
Right. Nor worship the golden image which I had set up.
See, nor worship the golden image which he had set up. That's all we're going to go on there. You can read the other and learn about how they got thrown in the fire. And there was 3 men in there. And Nebuchadnezzar could see the 4th man. See, brothers have protection, man. They're keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's basically what I'm going into.
That's right.
Let's go to Hosea 3 and 4. Let's move it along.
The book of...
See, the thing is, we have to, that's why I say we read in Revelations, come out of her, my people. You know, I mean, you go to work and do your thing, man, but come out of thinking that this is the land of the free. I heard Dez Bryant Coon now say something. Negro, if you wasn't playing sports, you'd be locked up right now. These niggas be tripping me out with this stuff. Read.
The book of Hosea, chapter 3 and verse 4. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king.
See, that king is Yahweh. Read on.
And without a prince.
Read on.
And without a sacrifice. And without an image.
See, without an image. Now you hear people say, y'all got that image. Man, you act like we was in our Israelite home, we ain't had nothing on the wall. Why you think everybody get these ideas from? They get them from us. It's just that some of our peoples went too far with it. We ain't got a picture of Cedric Bogier in here. Because if we did, we'll burn the building down. Read on.
And without an ephod. And without a teraphim.
Read on.
Afterwards shall the children of Israel return.
What's going to happen after they starve them out around here?
Afterwards shall the children of Israel return.
Read on.
And seek the Lord their God.
And what?
And seek the Lord their God.
Their God. Read.
and David their king,
Read on.
and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days.
And when?
In the latter days.
In the latter days, in the last days, man. That's what you see what's happening now. Israel is waking up around the world.
That's right.
And David, their king, is talking about Yahweh.
That's right.
Let's go to, keep reading, Hosea 4 and 1.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth.
There's no truth in America, man. America is built off lies. There's no truth here, man. Quit thinking you're watching television and you get some truth. Quit thinking you listen to your radio or listen to Oprah Winfrey. What's that brother name? Bald-headed dude, man. See, I don't watch television, so I don't know these people. Steve Harvey. He's one good step in fashion. Charles Barkley, man. You're not going to get no truth. If you're not coming from the Israelites, you're not going to get no truth. You might get half truth from some brothers that's into Egyptology. You know, they bugged out too, man. How you going to be worshiping some that is not even a land over there, or it's a desert over there? How you going to make Egypt great again? These Negroes bugged out, man.
They're full of homosexuality.
Right. They don't, I'm going to tell you something. They don't go do no research. And Louis Farrakhan, he's another fool. How is this man not doing no research and find out how them slaves how the Arabs had us enslaved like they did, man, before the Atlanta slave trade? How is he not doing no research? That let you know he's a step in fashion too. Read on.
Nor mercy.
No mercy here in Babylon. Read.
Nor knowledge of God in the land.
There's no knowledge of God in the land because they got all their churches set up. Read on.
By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. Therefore shall the land mourn.
Jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. My people.
What?
My people.
Read on.
Are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
You're not going to get it in your schools. You're not going to get it in the colleges. You're not going to get it nowhere around here. The only way you're going to get knowledge is you dealing with the Israelites. Read on.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
And then when we try to teach them, some of them still reject it. Read.
I will also reject thee.
See, we be telling them. They reject you and he going to put you to death. Then he going to put a dance on your head and put you in the corner. He going to put your lights out. Read.
That thou shalt be no priest to me.
See, because a lot of them love to speak for the Most High. God this, God that. Pull a scripture and prove something or shut your mouth. Read on.
Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
Of that they have forgotten because the only one got the law was the Israelites. Read.
I will also forget thy children.
He's going to forget your children too. Psalms 130:71. Some of them thinking their children are going to get in there in the kingdom. They just as wicked as hell too, man. We're going to put baby kids to death too.
That's right.
They don't get no pass. Oh, he was just 8 to cut his neck off. Sick of this place, man. Read.
The book of Psalms, chapter 137 and verse 1. By the rivers of Babylon.
That's talking about America.
There we sat down.
And you know, a lot of us were sitting down probably out there in the fields. Read.
Yea, we wept.
We what?
We wept.
Man, they was out there crying. Read.
When we remembered Zion.
When we remembered Zion. Let's get there. 1 Kings 8:1. See, we prove all things. Because a lot of people, they don't prove nothing. It's run their mouth like Christians do. Christians, they should just become singers. That's all they do is sing and lie. Read on, man.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 8, verse 1. Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel.
See, that's what you're seeing happening again. Read.
And all the heads of the tribe.
Read on.
The chief of the fathers of the children of Israel unto King Solomon in Jerusalem, that they might bring up the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of the city of David, which is Zion.
See, that's who we are. Let's go back. 137:2.
The book of Psalms, chapter 137 and verse 2. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof.
See, read on.
For there they that carried us away captive.
See, who carried us away captive? That's talking about in the slavery. The so-called Africans, the so-called Arab, and the so-called Edomites. Read on.
Required of us a song.
See, they required of us a song. Sing us one of them songs. You know how it is when you watch one of them old slave movies, one of them old black and white ones. Old school be on there singing. Sing one of them songs right quick.
Wade in the water.
Sing it, boy.
Wade in the water, chill.
Boy, that make me feel good, don't it? That's up there, man. Read that again, man.
We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song.
Read on.
And they that wasted us.
They that wasted us, destroyed us, read.
Required of us mirth.
Required of us laughter. That's where you get your Richard Pryor's, your Eddie Murphys. They want to laugh at you, man. Make me laugh. That's all you see out there. They be out there cracking up, don't they? You hear that word, cracking up. Read on.
Sing us one of those songs of Zion.
Sing us one of those songs of Zion. Read.
How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land?
How are we going to sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Read.
If I forget thee,
If I forget thee, read.
O Jerusalem,
Read on.
let my right hand forget her cunning.
See, this is the Most High. If I forget thee, Most High forgot us, man. That's why you see us assimilating today. Let's go to Psalms 48:10. This ain't a personal thing, man. It's just the truth. You know, when you go and do some of the research on your forefathers, it hurts, man, when I'm reading that stuff. It hurts like hell. Read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 48 and verse 10. According to thy name, O God, so is thy praise unto the ends of the earth. Thy right hand is full of righteousness.
See, thy right hand is full of righteousness. He's never going to forget us, man. That's what we're waiting on now, the return of Yahushua. Read on out. You got something?
Yeah, because that's who the right hand of God is Yahushua.
That's right. Let Mount Zion rejoice. Let the daughters of Judah be glad because of thy judgments.
Start at verse 6. Psalms 137:6.
137:6.
Yeah.
The book of Psalms, chapter 137 and verse 6. If I do not remember thee,
See, if the Most High do not remember us,
let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth.
read on.
If I prefer not Jerusalem
Those are the people.
above my chief joy.
Above his chief joy. Read on.
Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom.
See, these are the so-called white race. Remember the children of Edom, read.
In the day of Jerusalem,
In the day of Jerusalem.
who said, raise it, raise it.
Destroy it, destroy it. That's what they were saying when they come past Jerusalem in 65 AD. See, at first we was winning the war. They started taking us down by 68. And the Romans started conquering us then. We was fighting back. We wasn't sitting over there not fighting. Don't believe that hype. Read on.
Even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon.
See, why would it say, "O daughter of Babylon"? Because this Babylon is following the same tradition as Nebuchadnezzar,
That's right.
making us kneel down to things that we shouldn't. Read on.
Who are to be destroyed.
What? Read that again.
O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed.
It's going to happen. Read.
Happy shall he be
Happy shall he be.
that rewarded thee as thou hast served us.
See, they reward thee as they have served us means this place is going to be destroyed. Read on.
Happy shall he be.
Happy what?
Happy shall he be
Read on.
that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone.
Because this happened when Andrew Jackson and Native American Indians, when they was going on the Tears of Trail, man, the children couldn't keep up. They just grabbed by the leg, smash his head to a stone, man. See, they hide their crimes, like I tell you. And they want you to kneel down to this flag, man. Now the pain is starting to soak in. Now you understanding why we are like we are. We're not here to serve this country no more, man. We're going to work out our time here, but we're not here for this country, man, because this country ain't never been for us. How can you be for something that is not for you? Zechariah 2:6. And if anybody sit up and say, man, well, y'all doing good, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. A lot of them ain't took a stroll through the hood. A lot of them ain't went downtown to see the homeless. A lot of them ain't went to the prison system to see our people. A lot of them ain't went from city to city, to state, to country to see the atrocity that is going on. Because you see one step infection don't made it. What about the other 99%? Read that.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 2 and verse 6. Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north.
See, that's talking about America. That's not talking about flee, actually leave. That's saying come up out of America ways. Quit celebrating Christmas. These are money scheme holidays that they have for our people. Thanksgiving. All these are money scheme Valentine's Day. I have videos of all this stuff. All you got to do is go down the timeline, watch, you'll find out where all these pagan holidays come from. Read on.
Saith the Lord, for I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, saith the Lord.
I mean, we've been spread into all four corners of the earth. Read on.
Deliver thyself, O Zion.
See, it's saying deliver thyself. Come up out of her. Come back to these laws. Only way you're going to deliver yourself if you come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
You're not going to deliver yourself with Christianity or Egyptology or Muslims. You're going to deliver yourself to that lake of fire. Read on.
That dwelleth with the daughter of Babylon.
It's saying the same thing. The daughter of Babylon. Let's go to 2 Maccabees 6 and 18. See, this atrocity haven't just started, man. It's been happening to our folk. That's why I say, when someone say, that's okay, it ain't happening today. I don't know where they living at, in a secluded village somewhere. Read on.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 18.
6 and 13. Go where I say go.
Okay, I got you. The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 13. For it is a token of his great goodness, when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so did he with us.
Read on.
Lest that, being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us.
Read on.
And therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us. And though he punish with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people.
See, he never forsake us, man. Read on.
But let this that we have spoken be for a warning unto us.
See, this is a warning, man. This is what this Bible is. We're trying to warn our people to come up out of the ways of America. Read.
And now will we come to the declaring of the matter in few words.
That's because I went up a little bit because I want to come down here. Read. Eliezer was an Israelite. Read.
One of the principal scribes, an aged man.
Read on.
And of a well-favored countenance.
He had a good reputation of keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Read.
Was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh.
So he was constrained, man. They would put pressure on him to eat pork. Read.
But he, choosing rather to die gloriously.
See, some of our people, man, they get a splint in their finger, they on the ground rolling around. Read on.
Than to live stained with such an abomination.
See, to live stained, man, because once you willingly break God's commandments, that's what you do. You stain your reputation. Read.
Spit it forth, and came of his own accord to the torment.
Read on.
As it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things, as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted.
See, right now, pork is in our neighborhood plentiful, man. Pork is in everything from gum, tater chips, even in that Jiffy cornbread mix that I'm cooking on Sunday. Y'all better throw that stuff out your house. Read on.
But they that had the charge of that wicked feast,
See, they that had, these are talking about some Israelite man. Read on.
for the old acquaintance they had with, for the old acquaintance they had with the man,
See, read on.
taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king.
See, these old wicked Israelites told him just to bring some chicken or something. Just eat that. They wanted him to sell out. Same thing they did with Colin Kapernick. I bet some of the people going to him, his agent, hey man, just stand up and just, salute the flag, man. All you got to do, man. But he stood on his principles. Some of us don't. Read on.
That in so doing he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor.
See, if he would, see now he's saying, I'm going to stand for the national anthem. See, you find favor in your enemy when you do what you do as they say. Read.
But he began to consider discreetly,
He began to consider what he was doing. Read.
and as became his age,
Read on.
and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, whereunto he was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by God. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave.
Told him to go ahead and kill me. Some of us ain't gonna do it. See, read on.
For it becometh not our age, said he, if any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, were now gone to a strange religion.
See, he was 90 years old, man. He was thinking about, if I do this, what about these youth coming behind me? See, if some of our people stand up, these sellouts like Charles Barkley, Shaq, these Negroes gone, man. Ain't no help for them. But us standing up boldly, some of us got to do it, man. We have to take that oath. So the younger ones are see by our example. Read.
And so they throw mine hypocrisy, and desire to live a little time and a moment long, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to mine old age, and make it abominable.
See, he understood, man. That's why once you come in there and get fed, you get the information. You're standing up as an Israelite, man. He only putting you to sleep, man. He can only, and it's gonna have to be ordained through the Most High. The boogeyman has no power, man.
That's right.
He can only do what God allowed him to do. Read on.
For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead.
See, he was worried about the Most High. You can't be worried about Esau, man. Esau powerless, man. His future, let me tell you something. You don't want to have his future. His future is nowhere. All the days out there on the golf course, ain't gonna be that. You're gonna be out there in that cotton field, man. You're gonna be out there peeling and turning red all day, every day. 15 hours a day will break that pride, man.
That's right.
15 hours a day, man. You got 30 days, 45 hours, and then 3 days, man. Ooh. It's 99 degrees outside. No sunblock or nothing. Esau got a price to pay, man. Because once you go back and you read what they did, man, some of the things that they did to us, man, is mind-blowing, man. Let me just get something out here. I want to Page 102. Hey, Officer Benedict, read page 102, man. Hold that where you at, man. See, cause some of this stuff y'all don't have no understanding, man. Cause y'all just think, man, I'm doing the research. Page 102, read that, man. I'm gonna just let him read it in context. Just the first paragraph.
This is the Black Holocaust, page 102. For now, you are still at the pyre, crouching or lying on your back, listening to the wails, whimpers, screams, groans, moans, prayers, cursings, solids of your comrades in chains. You begin to sense the dizzying roll of the ship and begin to feel queasy, dizzy as they continue to load the ship. Someone very close to you is sick and throws up. Then another 2 or 3 on the deck above you. You see the vomit above you and alongside you, and you come close to passing out. You can barely breathe. You are trapped. You can't move a leg or arm without increasing someone else's misery. The chains rattle as we try to shift our bodies to get away from the running yellow-brown stream and odor from the next to us from above us. The flies and mosquitoes begin to swarm around you, but you can't swipe at them without yanking your chain brethren or sister.
Read on.
Whips lash at us, harsh, guttural words spit from the mouths of white men. We don't understand their European words, but we understand them. We begin to sense that the ship is in motion. Lots of noises on deck. You look into the eyes of the folks around you and you see the same madness you feel. During the week since you were snatched from your home, you hear all the rumors, all what seem to be fantastic tales, all the promotions about the voyage of death. You may not have believed all the tales and rumors, or you may have only believed this was going to be a voyage to a new kind of death while living world. No one except the most spiritually sensitive could have foreseen this present experience.
Let's sit on that. See, we're going to dive into that book even more, man. Some of the tales that went on about the raping, of how they just rape these women. And the men too, they was raping the men.
Well, let me read this, Cal.
Go ahead.
The screams, moans, crying, coughing, winching, wailing, prayers are all around you. In you, the pains, open sores, pus, mucus, blood, the foaming drool, the chain cuts, gashings, bugs, rats, the hat smothering, stinking air are all around you. In you. In fact, you have merged your being with the total African agony, Israelite agony on board a vessel moving away from the motherland.
See, it's like more in that book, man. Hey, get this book, man. This will really give you Deuteronomy 28:68, man. It'll give you how they was raping the women's, man. And when they was bringing them all naked, they was looking for the ones that they want to rape. And the mans, because you know how they are. But see, somebody give me Deuteronomy 32 and 8. Right quick, Officer Benedict. Stay where you at. See, because a lot of people's like, that's in the past. Man, I'm going to remember what's on my tree. Don't you got the Johnson family tree, which is garbage? I guess the slave didn't matter. Read that right quick.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people.
Go jump up to 7.
Verse 7. Remember the days of old.
See, read it again.
Remember the days of old.
See, they tell us, I'll forget your history, but they still celebrate July, what's that, 1776 or whatever, July 4th. We was in captivity. We was out in the cotton fields. They still celebrate Christopher killing Columbus because he was a murderer, man. They celebrate they kill us, man. And then they tell you to forget about your history. because they don't want you to know who you are. Let's go back, man, to 2 Maccabees. Yeah. Let's go back and finish this out.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 27. Wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will shew myself such an one as mine age requires.
See, manfully, man. Some of us, we don't know what it's like to be a man because we've been teaching here to be cowards. We're not cowards anymore. Read on.
And leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy law.
See, some of us going to have to take the sacrifice. Read on.
And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment.
They went to beating him. Read on.
They that led him changing the good will, they bear him a little before into hatred, because the foresaid speeches proceeded, as they thought, from a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes,
with whips, just like Yahweh. Read on.
he groaned.
He what?
He groaned.
Read on.
And said, it is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten. But in soul I am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him.
See, because we've been taught not to fear the Most High. That's why when I tell these brothers they some fake thugs, man, that's all they are. They just perpetrate, man. They ain't gonna bust a grape. See them in that courthouse, they're in there crying, man. Oh, man, God, I don't want to do 25 years, nigga. Bro, you got to go see Bubba now. Because you ain't want to act right out here. See, we trying to get them to act right out here to kill the penitentiary system. Read on.
And thus this man died.
He what?
And thus this man died.
Read.
Leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation.
See, we have to stand up for these young boys, man. They don't have no leadership. If they thinking LeBron is somebody, then they bugged out themselves, man. Let's go to, I won't keep a secret any longer. Let's get this right quick. I'm going to show you something, man. I'm going to let the brothers just read it through. I ain't even going to wake up. Read, man. Officer Benaniah.
I won't keep your secrets any longer. White people won't admit to what they hear and learn behind closed doors. One of the scariest stories I ever heard was told to me and several others at a child's birthday party over the ringing bells and music of the indoor rides and video games, across a background symphony of children laughing. I listened to a police officer brag about turning a young man as he lay dying in the streets. I don't remember those parents he was or even whose birthdays we were celebrating. My son was in kindergarten or first grade at the time, and it was the type of party you're invited to because you are in the same class as the birthday boy or girl. The parents tend to stand around making small talk, holding their coats draped over their crossed arms and watching to make sure their kid isn't the one smacking the others. This particular dad was standing around in a small semicircle of other parents. I was sitting alone at a table next to them. I don't remember how the topic came up because the conversation was banal enough that I wasn't really paying attention. I want to say it was about particularly neighborhoods in the area. I grew up in one of the most expensive areas to live in the United States of America. It's also one of the most segregated. No one talks about it though, not if you actually live there and are white. They don't want us to hear words like systemic racism or residential segregation. They don't care that we're told things like, oh, you don't want to live there when searching for an apartment. Nobody comes out and says why you don't want to live there. If you ask the real estate agents, they talk about things like high crime rates and shitty schools. The reason you little white girl don't want to live there is unspoken. They forget, though, that I've sat on their knees and listened to what they say when they aren't in public. I want to say that it was the talk of certain neighborhoods that sparked his dad, this police officer, to tell his story. He started by saying that if we really wanted to fix crime in our area, we will blow this one particular town off the face of the map. Heck, was when my ears perked up. He went on to tell his listeners of the time he spent working in that town. In particular, he recalled a drug dealer, a young black male who was set up by another black drug dealer to pick something up at his house. When he arrived, the door opened and he was shot several times. The police arrived to find the house empty and the young black male in the street, still alive, but bleeding profusely. This police officer told all the parents listening of how he and the other officers stood over the young man. They did not administer first aid. He admitted to taunting the man, bending over him to ask, "How does that feel?" as he died. Nobody seemed shocked by this story. Nobody said anything like, "Dude, that sounds like dude, that sounds like some cold shit to do to a person who is dying." They just nodded and kept chanting.
Because they used to this kind of thing. See, when they speaking of us, that's how they condition. So don't believe me, it's passed down. Read on.
I shall probably tell you now all the things I left out in this interest of reporting that is in as unbiased as a fashion as possible. I left out the word alleged. I wanted to add it several times, as in alleged drug dealer, and allegedly set up by another alleged drug dealer.
See, because the police lying too. Probably just a young black man sitting out there dying, man. They ain't gonna render no aid to it. And they taunted this man. These things continue to happen. A lot of crime that we don't even know about to our people. We know it's us against the police in the urban area and neighborhoods. We ain't going out trying to, you think about it, all these centuries of not giving these brothers competitive employment and flooding their neighborhoods with drugs. There's got to be a reason why. That's why the slave patrollers are still in our neighborhood. Read on.
But the police officer left out that word as well. Maybe because by leaving the young man to die in the street, he became the judge, jury, and executioner, despite our nation's constitutional claim of innocent until proven guilty. That man's guilt had been decided on the unforgiving black top of a local street. I left out the emotion behind the story he told, because there was none. The officer never appeared sad. He never acted sorry. He joked. At times he seemed not gleeful, but as if he were telling a story about his drunk uncle that's sure to get laughs. He never used the N-word. We were in public, after all. He didn't have to, though. The story was being used as an example of why everybody in that town, a town consistently of a largely, not if entirely, black population, should be, in his words, wiped off the face of the map. One evening, I drove into the city with 4 friends in my car, hopping from bodega to bodega, searching for the one that sold weed. Once we found it, my friend came out with a handful of nickel sacks. We made it maybe a block away before I was boxed in by 2 cars. When I came up to stop, we were surrounded. No guns drawn, nobody was even touched. The officers had been staking out bodegas in the area, had followed us from the previous one to this one. We were asked to get out of the car and was never searched. Had I been, they would have found the bags I shoved down the front of my pants. My friend admitted he was the one who brought the weed and was taken in and booked. A few hours later, we stopped into the local Dunkin' Donuts and saw 2 officers there from the same precinct that arrested our friend. We asked him about and how we could get him out. And it was the middle of the night, so we figured he wouldn't be arraigned until the morning. The officer shared the following advice. If you want to know why you got pulled over, you're white. In that neighborhood, no white people go to that neighborhood unless it's to buy drugs. If you want to buy some weed and be less conspicuous, go to XXXX. It's a more mixed neighborhood, so you don't stand out as much. Not only did we not get thrown to the ground and shot, not only were we allowed to walk away with the illegal drugs we purchased, we were handed advice on where to buy drugs the next time we needed some.
Man, we can't make this stuff up, man. Let's go to Psalms 36:1, man. We can't make these things up. Out of the Edomite mouth that it was told. Now, let's deal with this satanic man. Psalm 36:1. See, we have to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. And the truth will set you free. We're not here to spread lies. We're not here to victimize somebody, man. We're here telling thus says the Lord and the truth. Freedom.
The book of Psalms, chapter 36 and verse 1. The transgression of the wicked saith within my heart.
You know, this is the so-called white man. Edom, read.
That there is no fear of God before his eyes.
He doesn't fear the Most High, man. That's why he pushes men and men, women and women, men's and little boys, women's and little boys. Anything goes, freak parties, you know, anything against God. Read.
For he flattereth himself in his own eyes.
He flatters himself in his own eyes because he thinks he's God. Read.
Until his iniquity be found to be hateful.
Until his sins be found to be hateful. Read.
The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit.
The words of his mouth are sin and lies. Read.
He hath left off to be wise.
He hath left off to be wise, man. Read.
And to do good. He deviseth mischief upon his bed.
He laying down right now thinking about how he going to try to kill somebody or poison somebody. Read.
He setteth himself in a way that is not good.
He setteth himself in a way that is not good. Read.
He abhorreth not evil.
He abhorreth not evil. He loves evil, man. That's why you see all these movies are evil. That's why you see all the video games are violent. That's why you see all these things, man. It ain't because what we're doing. It's just the truth. Psalms 143 and 1. Psalms 143 and 1. We're coming at the Bible, man. And if they can prove us wrong, won't they come and prove us wrong? You know why? Because their history is a lie. So you can't continue defending a lie. Think about it. Read.
The book of Psalms, chapter 143 and verse 1. Hear my prayer, O Lord. Give ear to my supplication.
King David speaking, man. Hear my prayer and give ear to my supplication. Read on.
In thy faithfulness, answer me, and in thy righteousness, and enter not into judgment with thy servant. For in thy sight shall no man living be justified.
Read on.
For the enemy hath persecuted my soul.
For what?
For the enemy hath persecuted my soul.
Trayvon Martin.
For the enemy hath persecuted my soul.
Mike Brown.
For the enemy had persecuted my soul.
See, because these guys wasn't keeping no laws either, man. Read on.
He hath smitten my life down to the ground.
Read on.
He hath made me to dwell in darkness.
That's he keep you in sin, man. Read on.
As those that have been long dead.
Read on.
Therefore is my spirit overwhelmed within me.
Read on.
My heart within me is desolate.
See, let's go to 2nd Esdras. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 6 and 14 first. We dealing with a man's spirit that's not right in him. And a lot of people's is hard because we've been brainwashed here to think that God loves everybody. If he did, why we the only one suffering here? Why we the only one in the bottom in every neighborhood? Why they not sharing the wealth with us? Why we not in corporate America? Why we don't own no football, basketball, or baseball team? Why we not a part of this society that should give you some warning signs in your head that something ain't right? Because they push that 1-1-1, will by one body. That's about the 12 tribes of Israel. Read that.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6 and verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
See, a lot of us, we still got people that we dealing with, man. Personally, you got to feed them with a long handle spoon. Keep feeding these scriptures. You'll find out the cause will come less. Read.
For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness?
Read on.
And what communion hath light with darkness?
What communion hath light with darkness? Read on.
And what concord hath Christ with Belial?
What agreement do the Most High have with Baal, man? None. Read.
Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel?
See, an infidel is an unbeliever. Read.
And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols?
What agreement? None, man. Our peoples are caught into sin. That's why they resist this. When you say you always resist the Holy Ghost, they resist the laws, man. That's it. Read.
For ye are the temple of the living God.
See, we are the temple of the living God. Read.
As God has said, I will dwell in them.
He's going to dwell in the ones he gave these laws, the 12 tribes of Israel. Read.
And walk in them.
Read on.
And I will be their God.
And he will be their, T-H-E-I-R, God. Read.
And they shall be my people.
We already called that out in Exodus 3 and 10. So we in the New Testament and it's saying my peoples. See, Christianity just add to the scriptures, man. They just tell you this. Christians, Christians, Christians. Officer Benaniah, give me Acts 11 and 26. Let's see when the Christians, we don't deal with Christianity. We was called Christians first. Acts 11 and 26.
The book of Acts, chapter 11, verse 26. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
See, all they did was take that word and blend it in with paganism and idols. That's how he do everything. Just lies. Let's go back over here, 2 Corinthians 6 and 17.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6 and verse 17. Wherefore, come out from among them.
Read on.
And be ye separate.
See, read that again.
Wherefore, come out from among them. And be ye separate.
Read.
Saith the Lord.
Read on.
And touch not the unclean thing.
Read.
And I will receive you.
See, that's the only way you're going to be received, man. Read.
And will be a father unto you. And ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty.
See, let's go to 2 Ezra 15 and 14. All we doing is showing you the way. This is the way Colin Kapernick need to be doing. Coming back to his true God. Because as long as he worshiping Baal, because he's into some of that too. He probably was put up by one of his handlers to do that. You never know. Read that, 2 Ezra 15, 14.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein.
Read on.
For the sword and their destruction draweth near.
The destruction draws near. Read.
And one people shall stand up to fight against another.
So all these people thinking they're going to be mixing, one people's going to stand up and fight against another. These are talking about nations. Read.
And swords in their hands.
And weapons in their hands. Read.
For there shall be sedition among men.
There's going to be hatred amongst men. Read.
And invading one another.
Read on.
They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Read.
A man shall desire to go into a city.
See, that's what they're trying to do. Come to America, to these other countries. See, these countries are blocking these other nations from going into their country. Read.
And shall not be able.
See, they're not able. Read.
For because of their pride.
Their pride, man. Read.
The cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed. And men shall be afraid.
See, read on.
A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword.
With weapons, with missiles. Read on.
And spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
Because when you look across seas, man, this is going on today. It just ain't got here to Babylon yet. See, the news people give you good things like Timothy, No one showed up for his birthday party. This, they just be lying, man. You can't believe nothing on your news, man. No one showed up at his birthday party, so the police department came and celebrated with him. Now, I'm gonna put that on the news next week. Nobody showed up at Yep's birthday party. They might come and arrest me for calling. But we don't celebrate birthdays in here. But they just show you how they play the pity game with these nations. Read.
Behold, saith God, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me.
He's going to call them to revenge him. Read.
Which are from the rising of the sun.
The east, read on.
From the south, from the east, and Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them.
And repay what they have done to the 12 tribes. Read.
Like as they do yet this day.
Like as they what?
Like as they do yet this day.
Read.
Unto my chosen.
They doing the same thing today to the Most High chosen. Read.
So will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Lord God. My right hand shall not spare the sinners.
That's the Most High. That's Yahweh right there. His right hand is Yahweh. Read on.
And my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth.
See, his hand is not going to cease over them that shed innocent blood, man. Going back all the way to 1492, they've been shedding innocent blood. Really all the way back to the Greek captivity. Read.
The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and hath consumed the foundations of the earth. And the sinners, like the straw that is kindled.
Walk in charcoal. Read on.
Woe to them that sin.
It's talking about to the Israelites now.
And keep not my commandments.
They don't want to keep these commandments. All you solo Israelites, all you, I hate these schools. Who you think out here doing the work? You on Facebook giving one post and you get one like. So that means you putting in the work, huh? You out here spending money to get flyers and get stuff for the camp, get stuff for the school, and you out there doing the work, huh? You solo Israelites, y'all gonna be put to death too, man. Right. It's best that you be with the school to work out your own salvation, to work out your sins, what your weakness in. Some of us, we don't want that, when we here for our people, man. We trying to build a nation. We can't build a nation with Israel niggas. And you solo artists, y'all are Israel niggas. Read.
Saith the Lord.
Read on.
I will not spare them.
He's not going to what to the Israel niggas?
I will not spare them.
He's not going to spare y'all. Read.
Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary.
Defile not the sanctuary. Because you got some of them out here thinking, well, the weed is grown in the earth, we can smoke it. Negroes going to die full of smoke. Read on.
For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him.
Read that again.
For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him.
Because it's a commandment that we gather ourselves together. How we going to come back as a nation? You over here right in the same city, but you don't want to come gather with your people. Why? Pride. Because you're trying to hide your sin. That's what a lot of Negroes do. Read.
And therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction.
That's what their future plans are. Read.
For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth.
Read.
And ye shall remain in them. For God shall not deliver you.
See, he's not going to deliver solo Israelites. You don't left the band now. You're a solo artist now. You Lionel Richie now. You don't left the Commodores. Read on.
Because ye have sinned against him.
See, you don't sin against him. Jump down to verse 56.
Verse 56. Like as thou hast done unto my chosen.
Now we back on Esau again. Read.
Saith the Lord.
Read on.
Even so shall God do unto thee.
Read.
And shall deliver thee into mischief.
The mischief is destruction. Let's go to Revelation 17:1. Yeah. See, because a lot of people are like, well, man, that's in the past. No, it's not. God said that, in Galatians 6:7, you reap what you sow. So don't think that somebody getting a ghetto pass. Here you go, brother. You got a pass, for all that killing, raping, robbing, and stealing you did. you good. That ain't gonna happen.
Or don't think that God forgot it, because he tell you a day is like 1,000 years and 1,000 years to the Most High. So that stuff just happened like in a blink of an eye to the Most High. So he sure ain't gonna forget.
Let's go to Revelation 17:1.
The book of Revelations, chapter 17 and verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore.
Of who?
The great whore.
America, read.
That sitteth upon many waters.
Because America sitteth upon the many waters, read.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
These other nations have committed fornication, read.
And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
That wine is lies. Jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great.
Who is America? Who is America?
Mystery Babylon the Great.
Read on.
The mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
That's who America is. That's why we have to come out of America, man, and quit trying to think we finna get along here. Let's go to 2 Peter 3 and 7. We're coming to the end, man. 2 Peter 3 and 7. I just bring this up, man. Brother in the spirit. I'm telling you. I ain't even saying nothing. We're going to let it come out. Read. 2 Peter 3 and 7.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 7. But the heavens and the earth, which are now, by the same word are kept in store.
That heaven is the kingdom, and the word is the Bible. Read.
Reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men.
Damnation, destruction. Read.
But, beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years.
Because the Most High ain't forget nothing, man. Read.
And 1,000 years as one day.
Read on.
The Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
He's not slack concerning his promise that he's going to chop out plenty next. Read.
As some men count slackness.
Oh, that ain't going to happen, man. The Most High gone, man. It's just going to be like this forever. Please, read.
But is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance.
That all is the 144. Read.
But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night.
It's going to boom. The nuclear bomb's just going to hit here. Read on.
In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise.
Boom. Read.
And the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
It's talking about the peoples. Read on.
The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
How's America going to be destroyed?
They shall be burned up.
Everything here that they taking up with your house shall read.
Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
See, that sin is believing. It's going to happen. It's written in records. Read.
Looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of God.
Read on.
Wherein the heavens begin on being on fire.
This is Esau kingdom. Read that again.
Wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved.
That's Esau kingdom. Read on.
And the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
It's going to be very hot here, man. Read on.
Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens.
That's that new kingdom.
And a new earth.
Right here on earth.
Wherein dwelleth righteousness.
The righteousness. Ones keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Matthew 5 and 3. We got next. And I can't wait. I'm going to be out on the balcony at 4:45 a.m. Esau going to be in there having his thumb in his mouth. I'm just going to send a boat down there to wake him up. No, we're going to treat him right. Come on, man. 5 and 3.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 3. Blessed are the poor.
Hold up. What did the Bible just say?
Blessed are the poor.
Hey, Benaniah, give me Isaiah 14 and 32. See, because, we know how they twisting. Let's see who the poor is. See, it say, blessed are the poor. Isaiah 14, what? 32?
32.
Let's get that. See, because we holler, that's everybody, man. No, it's not everybody. See, we know Christians don't know their Bible. All they used to is a song and a dance. How to get down. They be in them churches doing the electric slide, don't they, man? Nothing going on in them churches but a wicked bunch of Negroes. Read it out.
The book.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 32. What shall one then answer? What shall one then answer the messengers of the nations, that the Lord hath founded Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it?
See, poor in spirit right now. Let's go back. Read that, man, because this is all that brother's taking a knee for. Taking a knee for his people. But he needs to be taking a knee as an Israelite. Because they can't help us if they're not really pushing this. Read.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit.
See, the poor in spirit. Read.
For theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
So for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. See, our glory gonna come once we get the kingdom. Now, this one thing I'm gonna cover. This is last thing, man, because I know a lot of us been in them churches. Somebody died. What they be singing? Amazing Grace. Let's see what that song come from, man. We're gonna find out the truth, just like we found out the truth about the national anthem. Their national anthem. It's not ours. You got that? Read that about where Amazing Grace come from.
Amazing Grace is about black slavery.
See, that's what they're singing, man. That be at them funeral singing. I seen Baracko doing that. He up there singing. He the devil too. Read that, man.
Who was this John Nielsen? In the song he writes Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound.
Boy, they be singing it, don't it, man? How sweet. Then they go right after the service and eat the pork chop sandwiches. Read on.
That saved a wretch like me.
Read on.
I once was lost.
See, read.
But now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Please take this literally. John Nielsen was indeed a vile wretch. He started out as a British Navy officer, but then turned his sea talents to the evil slave trade from Africa to England and North America.
Read on.
He became a slave trader extraordinaire. Oh, praise God. One day, while observing his crew whip the slave cargo into submission.
See, he was observing his crew whip the slaves into submission. This is where he get this song from. Read.
As they sailed the Atlantic Ocean, he noticed a young girl about the age of 12.
This girl was 12 years old, man. When I found this out, man, boy, saw it on my chest, boy, I grabbed it, man. Hey, man, you think I don't get pissed off reading this, man, and finding this history? Read.
She was resisting the rapes and fought with a continual vengeance.
She was resisting the rape, man. Read on.
When she got the chance, she raced and jumped overboard, knowing that the shackle around her neck would hang her instantly. She chose that outcome versus slavery. It immediately struck him and shocked him into reality of how cruel and evil the business he was in. He went to his chamber and wrote his wife, Polly, the words of Amazing Grace. They just seemed to flow naturally. As soon as his ship returned to England, he joined the clergy, and the rest of history.
Read on.
Amazing Grace saw a resurgence in popularity in the U.S. during the 1960s and has been recorded thousands of times.
Many coons.
During and since the 20th century, occasionally appearing on popular music charts.
So we learn what history is in here, man. We learn what the truth is. See, our people, this is where you come get faith. You're not going to find this information at your neighborhood white schools or your churches. We're here to bring the truth out, man. That song is all about a young slave girl resisting to get raped and hung herself. That's all, Israel. Shalom, man.
Shalom.